Am I wrong for choosing to celebrate my sister's birthday instead of my dad's wedding? I, 27 male, have always been close with my younger sister, Mary, 20 female. Mary has been overlooked by my dad from the moment she was born. My dad never wanted a daughter, and tensions with his ex-wife, Mary's mom, led him to basically excluding her from everything. Nothing she ever does is good enough for him, and she is often excluded from family gatherings. I always try my best to include her or even take her out, just the two of us, to make her feel better. But it's obvious that being excluded hurts her a lot. I am my dad's golden child and grew up spoiled, and while she tries to not show it, I can tell Mary is jealous of the attention my dad gives me. A month from now is Mary's 21st birthday, and she's very excited about it. I live in a different state, but I made a promise to fly over on her birthday so that I could take her out to get her first drink. We have been planning this for months, and I already got the tickets. My dad, 56 male, is currently engaged to Janice, 57 female, and a few days ago he texted me letting me know that their wedding plans changed and they plan to get married in their parents' yard on June 8th. He said he knew it was short notice, but they agreed that a small ceremony would be better so that they could go to the beach for their honeymoon while it was still nice. Now, my problem isn't the short notice. My problem is that June 8th just so happens to be Mary's birthday. Like, not even a day before or later. No, he plans to get married on his daughter's birthday. I brought that up and my dad brushed it off, saying it's just a date and it wasn't like my sister was going to celebrate her birthday with us anyways. I told my dad I already had plans to fly down and celebrate Mary's birthday with her, and I wouldn't be able to make both events. He seemed shocked by this and asked why I didn't just cancel for his wedding since I'm already paying to come down. I could even bring Mary along and celebrate her there if it meant that much to me. I'll admit this pissed me off because the least he could do was acknowledge his daughter's birthday. I told my dad that I plan on spending my day with Mary and the only way I will come to his wedding is if she is invited and decides to go. He tried to argue with me, saying that birthdays come every year and weddings don't, to which I responded that this is his third, so it's not that special, but my sister turning 21 is. My dad hasn't spoken to me since, but Janice and other family have been calling and texting me non-stop. Janice told me that my dad has been crying and miserable over what I said and that my selfishness has ruined their wedding. I'll admit that what I said may be harsh, but I also stand by it. I am not the one being selfish here, and if my dad wants his child at his wedding so badly, he can have all or nothing. However, my dad and family are still mad at me, saying that I'm being petty and ruining his big day. So, am I the asshole?
Am I in the wrong for demanding my coworker to pay me for a ride to work after many months of giving her a ride for free? For the last 14 months, I've been driving one of my coworkers to and from work. She only lives a mile up the road from me and is on the way, so I've never asked her for a dime or accepted when she's offered me money. From my perspective, I'm going there either way, and overall her household expenses are higher than my own, so it felt like the right thing to do. Over the weekend, my car went to the shop. I told my coworker that I wouldn't be available to give her a ride either Monday or Tuesday. She said it wasn't a problem because her boyfriend is off this week and would give her a ride. I asked if I could bum a ride as well. I even offered to walk to her home so that they wouldn't have to drive backwards. She asked her boyfriend about it and he said he would, but he wanted $20 for the 2 days. I know it's just $20, but that set me off. I declined the offer and said that I'd find my own ride. At work yesterday, she asked me about my car. I told her that I'd be getting my car Tuesday night after work, but that going forward I'd like $30 a week, a third of my gas costs, if she wanted to ride with me. She was upset about this and said that her boyfriend had only wanted money from me because by having me in the car, he was being forced to drive straight home when he picked me up. I pointed out that I've been happy to drive straight home to help her out for over a year and that it probably wouldn't have killed him to show me at least some level of appreciation. Today, she said that she'd no longer be riding with me after talking about it with her boyfriend. She said that she felt disappointed with me for holding his actions against her and that I was being petty. A couple other coworkers told me throughout the day that her boyfriend's just an a-hole and she doesn't really have a say at home, but overall agreed with me that it was a D move. From my perspective, this dude directly benefits from me thanks to his girlfriend not needing a car of her own or spending a dime on travel, and my coworker should have defended me. So am I being petty about all of this?
Am I the asshole for asking my sister to babysit? I, 30 female, raised my youngest sister, Jen, 20 female, since she was 13 because she had to be removed from our mother's care. Currently at 20, she still lives at home because she decided she wanted to drop out of college and work full-time for a while to figure out her major after getting an associate's. She currently works roughly 50 hours a week as a nanny, and she got this job recently. My husband and I had a baby boy 2 months ago, and before he was born, Jen said she'd be up to watching him a few days a week since she lives with us rent-free, although she does her own shopping. Since getting her job, Jen has no longer wanted to watch my son. She has 1 to 2 days off a week, and so we try not to burden her, but even on days where she doesn't work at all or is off early, she claims she'd like to be child-free. To her credit, she helps around the house after work, or she'll watch him and there so my husband and I can go for nightly walks or use the bathroom. However, the issue occurred earlier today. I asked Jen if she could babysit my son on one of her her off days. And she said that she had plans with a friend on one day and intended to use the other to handle daily errands such as her chores like laundry, cleaning her room, etc. I told her that on errand days, she could just take her nephew with her and watch him while she cleans up. But she declined and said she would not be able to get anything done since he never wants to be put down. And her body is tired from all the rough housing that she does with the kids at her job. I told her that this isn't what she agreed to before, and she noted that she had a different job then, and she doesn't want to work on her days off too now. It's unfair, honestly. And she suggested paying another sitter, but why would I pay for a sitter when there's a literal professional in the same home that just refuses to do the work? She thinks I'm being over demanding of her and that I agreed to having a third person indefinitely added to my life when I decided to conceive. Her comment was entirely unnecessary, but am I the asshole? Edit to add, we've discussed charging rent before, but her only response is to give her a heads up so she can just move somewhere else. She claims that she only lives with us because it's free and she can repay her student loans faster with the extra money. I don't want to hinder her from getting ahead of her debts, nor do I want to lose the extra help I do manage to get from her around the house.
Okay, can we back it up to the comment where OP says she'll watch him while we go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
So saying you're getting all this extra help, what extra help are you getting? Someone watching your baby for the 30 seconds it takes you to pee? That's extra help? This is ridiculous. And if she says, I only live with you because it's free, let her move out then. Let her move out. Rent is not cheap. It's hard because I go back and forth in my head on this one where I'm like, respect her boundary. She's saying no. You're not defining your boundary by asking for rent or asking for help you with utilities. So that's kind of on you. So it's like you can't force someone to babysit for you. And I get it. She's a nanny. By the time she gets home, she's kidded out.
Yeah.
She's kidded out. But at the same time, like, this is also your sister, family. You did her a big favor. You took her on when you were, 20? She lives with you rent free. I don't think it's an unreasonable request to ask, hey, can you watch the baby one day a week while I get some stuff done? Am I the asshole, 38 male, for cutting back on work to prove a point to my wife, 30 female? My wife is usually an angel of a woman, but has recently gotten into a friendship with a woman whom I personally believe is a bad influence on her. Not in a patronizing way, more of a lay down with dogs, get up with fleas type of situation. I've never
heard that before, but continue.
I like it. I've never said anything about her childishness or her very radical misandry because frankly, it doesn't affect me until it did. A few months ago, my wife began pressuring me to do more around the house. Before I get an instant you're the asshole, we already split chores and childcare. Admittedly, she had a bigger cut than I because she is a stay-at-home mom, but I do most of the cooking. Breakfast and dinners, lunch is her responsibility for her and the boys. I take out the garbage and I do laundry. And I deep clean the bathrooms once a week. I do also help with our boys' homework and such.
I'll marry this man right now.
The bar is low, but like he's doing a lot.
The bar is 6 feet under, but it's pretty good right now.
She insists that I'm not doing enough and that I should be doing more around the house. I tried having discussions with her, asking what she expected from me, namely all chores and child rearing should be my duty, it seems. And for months, it seemed to be going nowhere. She used the D word more than once when speaking on this, which felt manipulative.
What's the D word?
Divorce.
I was like, Dad?
It boiled over when we were out with friends one night, and she began talking about how I never help out and how I use her as a house slave, her words. I will admit, I saw red. The next part is where I may be the asshole. I didn't say anything that night, but the next day, I asked my boss to be given reduced hours for the next little bit due to stress, and I took over everything in the house. I cooked breakfast and made lunch for the boys before I drove them to school. I cleaned the house top to bottom. I did every dish we had twice and so on. My wife was blindingly happy and bragged to her friend that she had finally worn in. She didn't lift a finger for around a month. Then she began asking why we never went on dates anymore and complaining that she wanted to get her nails done as they were growing in. I explained that I had to take that out of our budget so we could continue to afford everything else, but we could absolutely have a movie night in and I could paint her nails for her. She was unhappy with that solution. So I asked her if she would want to get a part-time job to pay for her luxuries. You would have thought I asked if she wanted to join a cult. She then asked if I could just go pick up more shifts at work to cover her other expenses and used the phrase, be a man, which I found more than a little insulting. I then asked if she would be willing to go back to splitting the chores and such, which is when she began to catch on that the two were related. She yelled at me that I was being a manipulative asshole for doing this and even claimed it was financial abuse. I stood strong for a while, but now I'm questioning my methods because even I feel what I did was a little bit underhanded.
As in, he stopped making as much money to do the chores.
Am I the asshole?
Wow! It's gray.